having committed crime after crime with impunity, stolen land, carried out ethnic cleansing, and killed Palestinians on the West Bank. Israeli settlers and their representatives, their armed defenders, the Israeli soldiers, thought that they could continue to do this with nothing happening. So they screwed up, and here they assaulted a CNN camera crew. Here you see the consequences.
Focused on the conflict with Iran, a new wave of violence by Israeli settlers against Palestinians continues to rock the West Bank, and a CNN crew trying to cover that violence was violently detained by Israeli troops.
Producer Abir Salman identifies us as journalists before translating the soldiers' commands.
Sit down, sit down, sit down.
So the soldiers just immediately came up and started pointing their weapons directly at us, telling everyone to sit down immediately. Obviously, we're not posing any threat here.
The commander comes straight for our camera, and within seconds, a soldier has just put photojournalist Cyril Theophilus in a chokehold, forcing him to the ground.
Don't touch him like that. Don't touch him like that. Give me the phone.
And it got worse. CNN's Jeremy Diamond joins us now live. Jeremy, what exactly happened? Is everyone all right?
Yeah, Jake, well, thanks for asking. My team is doing well, including my cameraman, Cyril Theophilus, who's shooting this interview right now. We arrived in this village of Taysir in the West Bank about 12 hours after Israeli settlers set up this illegal outpost there and violently assaulted multiple Palestinians. And when we arrived, we saw Israeli soldiers on the hilltop alongside this outpost, standing idly by, but it was minutes after we arrived and we were interviewing Palestinians in the area that suddenly you saw that scene unfold there, where these Israeli soldiers immediately escalated quite violently, assaulting my cameraman, Cyril, and ultimately detained us for about 2 hours. And what was remarkable was not only the fact that the soldiers were only taking action against us and the Palestinians in the area and not against those settlers who established this outpost that's illegal under Israeli law as well, but also the conversations that I had with some of those soldiers during our detention were quite revealing, showing the way in which these soldiers see themselves as participants in this settler movement. One of them acknowledged to me that outpost was illegal under Israeli law, but he said one day it will be legal, and that's the pattern, the Israeli settler playbook, to create facts on the ground and then get this right-wing government in Israel to legalize those settlements under Israeli law.
What is behind this new surge of violence in the West Bank and the fact that the Israeli government and the Israeli military seem to be supporting it?
Well, there's been a huge increase in settler violence since October 7th, 2023 in the West Bank. The Israeli government has legalized dozens of these settler outposts, legal under Israeli law, but still illegal under international law, which is an important distinction to make here. But during the war with Iran, we've seen a spike in violence once again. At least 7 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli settlers, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, since the beginning of this war with Iran. That is nearly as many as were killed by settlers in all of 2025. And it just gives you a sense of how out of control this Israeli settler violence is now getting in the West Bank. And it's been really quite remarkable to see the reaction in Israel to our reporting. It has aired on multiple Israeli TV news channels, and there's a real conversation now brewing about what this government needs to do about it in ways that we haven't seen before. And obviously, this is not just about what happened to our crew, but these actions by Israeli soldiers and settlers that take place against Palestinians almost every single day in the West Bank.
Well, please send our love and strength to Cyril, your cameraman, and thank you so much for your brave reporting. Completely unacceptable what's going on in the West Bank and what happened to you. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Of course, if they hadn't assaulted the camera crew, this would have gone unreported, but we'll take what we can get.